Welcome back to the Journey to the FarLands. All right. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead and dig out of here. And move over this way just to get clear. Make sure there are no unpleasant critters about. Okay, that's taken care of, and that's the direction I need to go, over this way. So that works. Let's get out of here. Just step over here. Back up. Get myself a little bit of a platform in the water upon which I can deposit a boat and head that way. Onwards to the far. Oh, crying out loud. Onwards to the FarLands. Yeah, right. There we go. All right. So, here we go. Moving onwards. And let's see. First things first, the size of the world. This beginning of this video is 6458.53. I almost said this morning, but it isn't. So, there you go. Because I prefer to record these in the morning, but here it is. Sunday afternoon, and hey, we've got some ice. All right, that's cool. An ice ocean is easy to navigate. All right, just pop that there, drop a torch on it, and let's go. Oh, wait a minute. Let's throw that away. And I guess I can hang on to the rest of it. All right. Onwards, heading on to the FarLands, walking to the FarLands in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3, because the FarLands don't exist in any version after that. And yeah, traveling onwards here, yammering, talking, discussing, answering questions, and so on and so forthing as I walk. Because just doing nothing but walking for 3 days at a time without saying anything or talking about anything would be hopelessly, ridiculously, unforgivably boring. Yes. And hopefully my talking is not nearly quite so hopelessly or unforgivably boring. Okay, anyway, rambling on like a crazy person here. Actually, no, not really. Just a person who's trying to talk and not stop talking for very long at a time, just to keep viewers interested, or attempt to keep viewers interested by rattling on in such a fashion that they wonder what sort of crazy, odd, weird, or whatever kind of thing that I might say next. Or whatever I might try to say and trip over. I've done that plenty of times too. Yeah, anyway. Let's see. First question for today. Now, mind you, I have a long file of questions that I compile out of questions that people leave in comments. And this is especially if they happen to say in the question that it's for the Journey to the FarLands, or something like that. That's great. And I compile all those into a text file, adding the new questions to the bottom of the file, and the questions that I'm answering come off the top of the file. So I'm answering the oldest ones first. And let's see, we have Bob Bobbingsworth, asks, if you ever achieve 1 million subscribers milestone, will you shave your beard? Ooh. The beard is sacred. The beard is life. The beard is power. Fear the beard. Absolutely. Ordinarily, I would answer that question with an instant no, I'm not going to shave on account of anything, but this is a different situation here. We're talking about a 1 million subscriber milestone, which is, well, it's fracking huge, is what it is. It's totally, insert the expletive of your choice, huge. Yeah. And, I don't know. Honestly, I really can't tell you because, well, I've never liked shaving. I never have. And this goes all the way back to when I first started in my mid-teens. And, okay. The first few times it was, that was the, oh, where the heck is my shears? Okay, there we go. The first few times it was the, oh, hey, wow, I'm the big man now, shaving. Yeah. And after that, it started to get irritating. And I don't just mean irritating as in annoying. I mean irritating as in physically uncomfortable in the extreme. And, because it didn't take me long to figure out that what I was doing was basically scraping a layer off of my face. And I didn't enjoy that. And it didn't take me long to reach a point of just not bothering to shave if I didn't have an actual reason to do so. And that's been a thing ever since then. I've had jobs where you're expected to be clean shaven, like in food service jobs and stuff like that. And I go along with it. If I need the job, then I got to go along with the rules and the accepted practices, the way you're supposed to do things in a place like that. And I would go along with the rules. Because I know what they are before I even get the job, so, yeah. But always, every chance I get, my preference is to take the razors and other shaving supplies and throw them away. Because, yeah. And another reason that I don't like shaving is, well, okay, frankly, this one is just strictly personal opinion. But since the person is me and the opinion is mine, I think it kind of outvotes everything. And that is that I personally believe that I look better with the beard than I do without. But of course, that's my opinion. But since it's my face that I have to look at every day in the mirror, then I think my opinion probably counts more. Anyway, it's hard to answer that one, and all I can tell you for certain is that it would be a lot better to ask that question as I actually approach a 1 million subscriber goal. When I break 900,000, start asking me then, and I might be able to give you a better answer. Because the last time I shaved was in December of 2010, and I know I've told this before, but I'll say it again, because why not? And all of a sudden I got this strange feeling that I should have taken this question off the list because I suddenly feel like I've answered it recently. But whatever, I don't care. I've already devoted this much time to it. I might as well finish. Yeah, December 2010. Someone had recently asked me when will I ever shave again? Would I shave? When would I shave or something like that? Oh, wait a minute. And I told them in answer, I said I would shave as soon as YouTube makes me a partner. 7 days later, I received notification from YouTube that I had achieved partner status. And so, that very day, I set my camera up on a tripod in the bathroom facing the mirror, and I went in there, started the recording, and I shaved. That's the last time I did it. Because in that video, I also stated that I would never voluntarily shave again. Ever. Because I don't like doing it. It's uncomfortable. It's literally, it feels like I'm scraping part of my face away. And, it's not good for the skin. And I frankly think I look better with the beard. And so, I'll tell you what, the best I can do is I will consider the possibility, and when I pass 900,000 subscribers, then will be the time to ask. And I think that it's safe to say that it could be another 10 years before that happens. I know that, or it could be 20 years, or maybe it'll never happen. I don't know. Okay, moving on here, away from the face scrapings. Cheeseburger, now there's a good name for you, asks, well, it's actually 3 questions, isn't it? No, it's 2. Hang on here. How long have you been living in Arkansas, and have you ever experienced a natural disaster such as an earthquake or a tornado? Okay, well, let's see. We'll go with the first part of that. How long have I been living in Arkansas? In 1997 is when my wife and I moved here. And so that's like, 23 years ago? Yeah. So, a good long time. And, yeah, and in that time I've lived in, the house I've lived in, I've been in for, since December of 2001. So that's pretty good. Let's see. As for the natural disaster such as an earthquake or a tornado. Okay, I don't remember ever experiencing an earthquake. I have seen news reports occasionally of this or that small grade tremor being reported is sort of kind of in the area-ish, or in this part of the state. I think there's something like the New Madrid Fault Line or something like that. I think that's what it is. I don't honestly know, so I could be totally and completely wrong. I have never felt any earth tremors or anything like that, so I can't say anything there, really. Tornadoes, on the other hand, tornadoes are old friends, so to speak. Well, they are things that I am familiar with. I don't suppose you can actually call a tornado a friend. Okay, I got a stack, just about a whole exact stack of logs, so that's pretty good. All right, the tornadoes. Okay, I spent a good chunk of my youth, from about 1970, or was it 1971, living in Oklahoma, in Tulsa. And that is pretty much right in the middle of an area that is popularly known as Tornado Alley. And tornadoes happen. They happen where I live now, too, in Arkansas as well, but I'll get to that. The first time I ever had a major encounter with tornadoes, and I have been around a number of them, on the 8th of June, 1975, a whole family of like 20-something tornadoes went through the area. Did a lot of damage in the city of Tulsa. I remember that. I remember taking we made a day of it. Loaded the family up. Dad loaded the family up into the car, and we went driving around, rubbernecking at all the damage. Like trees 4 foot in diameter, twisted around like pretzels. 4 foot diameter trees, and I'm not talking. I'm talking like healthy, live oak trees and stuff, These things are strong. And this storm came along and twisted them in knots. Like it was playing with rope. And other similar things where really big stuff was destroyed or picked up and blown down the street or across town, stuff like that. Because you look at tornadoes, you're looking at 80, 100 mile an hour winds or more. And this was a whole lot of tornadoes. It was a lot of little ones, I know. I don't remember. I wasn't one to pay much attention to the news reports and such at the time back then, but I would say there was probably a number of F3 or better tornadoes. And we're talking about something that will rearrange your life pretty thoroughly. Yeah. And I think it was a year or two later, there were some more tornadoes that came through the area. The one that I remember the most, however, is one that happened here in this area where I live now. I'm going to say in around 2007, I believe it was. There was a tornado come through the area. And it was later determined that this was an EF4, possibly an EF5 tornado. And if you've ever watched the movie Twisters, and somebody asks, has anyone seen an F5? Have you ever seen an F5? What was that like? And the one guy looks up and says, the finger of God. He's not kidding. We're talking extremely high velocity winds. And this thing is deadly. It went through this area. And there was a damage path, something like a mile or 2 miles wide. And after the storm, there was stuff from 50 miles south of here that ended up being found in Missouri, 100, 200 miles north. Yeah. Just take stuff, pick it up, throw it, and it comes down 100 miles or more away. Yeah. It's an incredible, very powerful storm. And the reason that I remember that storm in particular is not just the fact that it was like an F5 and that it came through my area where I live, but also because my brother had been over to my house that day, and the rains and storm had gotten started, and we were looking at the weather report and the weather radar on the TV before he left to go home. And it looked like it was clearing up. And he waited for that and so on, and then he left and went home. It turns out that it ended up getting stronger again. He was driving home down Highway 62, and he went around the curve and ran smack head on into the storm. It picked his van up and twirled him around in a circle around the storm and then flung it to one side. He ended up getting out of what was left of the van. It had been flung to the side of the road. And the next day, by the way, my wife and I went to that site looking for any remnants of anything they had there, anything from the van that might be salvageable, and to just see the site. And the van landed about probably 15 to 20 feet off of the road that he had been driving on his way home. It was totaled. Every bit of glass in the thing was shattered. The van was a complete loss. And the biggest, most miraculous thing about that whole thing is that after it landed, he got up out of it and walked out of it, away from it, with hardly a scratch on him. That was amazing. And, yeah. So, it's tornadoes, yes. I have been involved with tornadoes. Not so much earthquakes, but definitely tornadoes. Fortunately, I haven't actually been quite as closely involved as my brother was. But that's okay. I really don't need to be. I have, on more than one occasion, especially when I was a kid living in Tulsa, on more than one occasion, have found myself, along with a whole bunch of other people, going to a neighborhood tornado shelter because there was a big BAMF coming in, and you didn't mess around. When the sirens go off, you get to a shelter or a safe place in your home, and you stay there until the all clear sounds, because they're not messing around. You know, those storms are powerful, they're dangerous, and they can pick you up and fling you into the next state. You know, there has been plenty of people over the decades, over the years, whatever, that were picked up by a tornado and never seen again. You know, it sounds like something out of a movie, but it's true. It happens. Those things are powerful. They can pick you up and fling you out where nobody's going to find you. And there's just no stopping them. All you can do is know where it is, what direction it's moving, and what your best option is to get to a place where it won't kill you. So, yeah. That was fun. And strangely enough, it was fun. I don't know why, but everybody around me was terrified of these things when I was a kid, and I was exhilarated. I found it to be exciting as all get out, especially the crazy thunderstorms and all of this. I wasn't afraid of the tornadoes. I respected them because I know what they can do, but I wasn't ever actually afraid of them. And to this day, I love a thunderstorm. I absolutely love a thunderstorm. And the stronger it is and the flashier it is, you know, the more lightning and thunder and all this stuff that's going on, the better. Because, really, think about it. A thunderstorm is one of the most ultimate light shows in all of creation. Really, seriously. And you can't beat a good spring thunderstorm for light show quality. A good spring thunderstorm coming in about midnight or something like that, you know, when it's good and dark, especially if you live far enough away from population centers so that you're not having to deal with tons and tons of light pollution. And so on, that the lightning really stands out. Of course, it stands out when the power fails, too. That happens a lot in that kind of storm because, you know, there's a lot of intense stuff going on. And older equipment, especially older equipment, can't tolerate it so well. Okay, it's a midday on the third day, so when I get across this water, I need to start looking for a place to park overnight. Oh, thunderstorms are awesome. Tornadoes are kind of fun, as long as you have a safe place to be when they're doing their thing. You know, this is when when I had TV, I would turn on my local TV station and watch their, because they would break into 24/7 weather coverage, you know, for the duration of the storm. And they still do that, I understand, but I haven't been able to, I live far enough away from the TV station that I can't receive an over-the-air broadcast signal, and I both cannot afford and am too bloody doggone cheap to pay for satellite or cable television. I am not going to pay for a TV signal that I can get for free. I'm just not going to do it. And if that means I don't watch television, then, you know, honestly, I stopped watching television in 2009 when the big switch happened, when they switched from all analog signals to all digital. And when that happened, you know, I had the converter box. I knew about it. I got one ahead of time, but I wasn't getting enough radio. I didn't get enough signal strength for it to work. You know, you have to have a good amount of signal strength for that thing to work with. And I lived over 100 miles from the TV station, so not enough signal. Alright, no more of the wool. So, living that far away, I couldn't get enough signal for the converter to work, and so I gave up. I quit watching television. And you know something? I don't miss it. I really, sincerely, honestly do not miss it. Oh, I'll grant you there are a few things that I would like to be able to watch that I've only ever been able to see on television. You know, like one of the very few things that would make me want to get any kind of cable or satellite TV would be in the month of July, when the World Series of Poker main event is played. I would love to be able to watch live, full coverage of that event, because I started watching that in 2005, I believe it was, and it was awesome. Of course, they have cheaped out the coverage since then. It used to be the day one, the coverage would be, you would have like, they had like 4 hours of coverage for each of the 3 day one events. And come on. They had a lot more coverage back then than they do now. Now they give you like 2 hours of an hour or two, maybe 3 hours of abbreviated, limited coverage of each day. And I remember that, like for 2005, day one coverage was broken up over, I think it was either like 3 or 4 actual broadcast events. 2 broadcast events, excuse me. And each of those was 4 hours long. So you got a lot of coverage of everything that went on for all 3 day one events, both of the day 2 events. It's basically, there was, you know something, I don't have time to talk about this now because it's the end of the episode and I need to go to sleep before the monsters start to spawn. So maybe I'll talk about this next time. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I am out of here.